What's good guys, Tiger here, welcome back to the channel. So I've been experimenting with a few classes and I thought an interesting topic to discuss is what perk class is the best. And what I mean by that is what is the most valuable perk set in the game. Is it perk 1, perk 2 or perk 3? We all know there are so many really important perks in all of the different sets, but if you could only pick from one, which one would you go for? So I've been experimenting with perk 1, 2 and 3 Gluttony and finding out what class best suits the majority of the perks from each section. So let's start with perk 1. So perk 1 has a lot of really interesting perks. You've got Scavenger, what is a must for a lot of people unless they want to run Crash. You've got Tactical Mask, what is really good against countering a lot of specialist abilities. So is Flak Jacket. And then the fourth perk is Engineer. Well, I don't use that often. I don't think a lot of people are actually using Engineer, but it does have a lot of use. Very good for countering Nomad's Mesh Mines, as well as any score streaks that may be in the air. So the class that I've created that I think best suits perk 1 is I've got the Rampart with high caliber 1 and 2 and grip. I've got the Comsec device, and then I've gone for Scavenger, Tactical Mask and then Flak Jacket. So I think those three perks in particular without Engineer I think are really good. I'm always using Scavenger, it keeps me alive. And that tends to be the story with perk 1. I feel like perk 1 is all about keeping you alive and keeping you going. It's really trying to minimize the amount of ways that you can die. So we all know that specialists are really annoying in this game. So if you've got Flak Jacket and Tactical Mask, it's really going to reduce the amount of bullshit you receive from a lot of these specialist abilities and equipment. The class is very good, it does a lot of damage, the Rampart is a very deadly weapon. To be honest, you could pretty much put any gun in here. However, to identify what class best suits perk 1, you've got to think about what you're missing. So you're missing a lot of crutch perks like Gung-Ho, Dexterity, Dead Silence. So I think with a lot of them gone, you don't necessarily want a fast-paced weapon like a submachine gun or a secondary weapon. You probably want something that's maybe a little bit more reserved. I think if you're a slow-paced player, maybe you like to use snipers or you like to use tactical rifles or long-range assault rifles, then this class is going to be alright. These perks are really going to suit you because they're going to keep you alive from those specialist abilities. So if you're not playing bare bones, let's say bare bones is not available, but you love playing bare bones, then maybe taking Flak Jacket and Tactical Mask is going to be something that is good for you. If you find that you don't go on many streaks, you don't stay alive for that long, then you're probably worth trading in Scavenger for Engineer, especially if you are trying to complete the rocket launcher or you do use the rocket launcher. Or if you have got an FMJ class with FMJ 1 and 2, then Engineer is definitely going to be something you want to take down those score streaks. Okay, moving on to perk 2, and there are a lot of perks that you can choose out of here. There's one more perk in perk 2 than perk 1 and 3. You've got Lightweight, Skulker, Cold-Blooded, Gung-Ho and Dexterity, and the perks that I have gone for are Lightweight, Dexterity and Gung-Ho. I think Dexterity and Gung-Ho are the most important ones. And then I've just paired this with the class that I used in my previous video, what is the Cordite with Laser Sight, Rapid Fire and Belt Feed. So this is a very fast-paced class. It utilises hip firing, shooting while sprinting. It's a class that relishes being in gunfights. When you're in those close range gunfights, this class is just perfect for those situations. You've got Lightweight for the strafing, what is really good for this class because you don't need to aim in as much because you do have that laser sight and the belt feed. You've got Dexterity for the improved sliding, you're sliding faster and further and mantling quicker as well with still a very tight hip fire spread. And then you've got Gung-Ho, what's going to allow you to shoot faster while sprinting. What's going to allow you to shoot faster if you're sprinting. So this class is really good. It's a lot of fun. I talked about it in my previous video. I definitely think it's worth trying out, and if you are a fast-paced player and you want to run and gun, then I recommend this perk setup. The gun is very good as well. You can put in any submachine gun here. The submachine guns that I'd recommend would be the Spitfire, the Sorg, or if you're lucky enough to get any of the DLC weapons, you want to use the Daemon or the Switchblade. Those two are absolutely awesome. And if you just like to sprint from one end of the map to the other, this class you're really going to enjoy. Next up is Perk 3, and I believe that this class best suits hardcore players. I tried it in core, but I think that the gun that I used wasn't maybe best suited, or I was just having a bad game, so I switched to hardcore and just absolutely destroyed. So in Perk 3, you have got Ghost, Dead Silence, Tracker, and then you've got Team Link. Now on screen I'm showing you that I've got Ghost, Dead Silence and Tracker. However, when I switched to hardcore I removed Tracker and then put in Team Link because that is a very important perk for using hardcore. So the class is something that I also talked about in my previous video. We've got the MX9 with the silencer, rapid fire and stock. I love this combination and I think this is possibly one of the most deadliest classes in hardcore. I was absolutely shredding. It has really good damage. You can do a lot of work with this. The only problem is you don't have Gung Ho, what is a very important perk for hardcore, so you are going to want to try and pre-aim a lot more than you would before because you're not going to get that speed benefit that Gung Ho gives you against other players who you might run into while sprinting. So try and keep your gun up as much as possible, but this class is just really keeping you hidden. If they have got UAVs, what a lot of people get, you are just off the map. No one is going to see you. You definitely want silencer with this class. If you are going through the effort to use Dead Silence and Ghost, then you'd be stupid not to use the silencer. I cannot express how much I love this class for hardcore. It just absolutely shreds and the enemy have no idea where you are. Doesn't matter if they've got UAVs, acoustic sensors or anything, they can't see you and they can't hear you. So you really can get a lot of work done with this class. I've also got ComSec device because I believe I'm staying alive for a long time. So it's going to really help me get those score streaks fast and then continue to keep getting them as I stay alive. So after playing with all three classes, with all three perk sets, I definitely believe Perk 1 is all about resistance and just keeping you going. Perk 2 is all about moving, it's all about keeping you on the move as fast as possible and not stopping. And then Perk 3 is all about keeping you hidden, both from sight and sound. I think all three classes are really good and I recommend that you use them. The last class, Perk 3, is tailored to hardcore, but it will definitely work in core as well. I think for me and my playstyle, the perk set that I think is the best is Perk 2. I really like running and gunning. I love to outplay people in gunfights, and I think there is a lot more versatility with the amount of weapons that you can use for Perk 2. I think dexterity and gung ho is an awesome combination. Pair that with lightweight or cold-blooded if you're a person who gets beat up a lot in games and there's lots of score streaks about, especially if you're playing endurance, then you might want to have something like cold-blooded, but that can do really well. There's lots of different weapons you can pair Perk 2 with, but that is just my personal preference. I'd love to hear what you guys think is the best perk set. Is it Perk 1, the resistance, Perk 2, the movement, or Perk 3, the undetected? Please let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, consider subscribing and turning on notifications to stay updated on all my latest content. But that's all from me. Take care and I'll see you in the next video.